Hello, Ramley and other NFL family, especially Seahawks family. It's great to see you all once again in another episode of MOOF, where we are looking for the most overly optimistic fan in the NFL. The goal is to interview one fan from every NFL team and see what are NFL fans optimistic about their team. I am really excited for this episode because we are bringing on an amazing guest. The link to his channel is in the description below, so you want to make sure you go subscribe to him. Squabo said he's almost at 1,000 subs, so we want to help get him there. So make sure you go subscribe to his channel. We're talking about the Seattle Seahawks today. Russell Wilson is gone. Pete Carroll's still there. There's some questionable things happening with DK Metcalf and his contract situation. So can Seahawks fans really be that optimistic? Let's see if Squabo can shed some light into the situation in Seattle. And welcome to the show, Squabo. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. That intro video gets me pumped, bro. Look at you. Look at you. I see you. How are you?
I'm good, man. Good. I'm I'm excited to have you here on this episode of MOOF. We're going to be talking about the Seattle Seahawks schedule in a moment here. But Squabo, some of my viewers, they've seen you before. They know you. You've been on my channel before. Can you maybe let them know, how are you? Have you recovered from the Russell Wilson trade? I know that was tough for you.
So normally when you go through a breakup, you get to block them on social media. You get to not see them, and you don't hang out with them. You don't hang out with their friends. You don't hang out with their family. You don't have to see them all the time. Well, with what I do, I cover sports. Okay, I cover the NFL primarily. So I have to sit there and watch my ex with their new boo every single Sunday. No, I'm not over the trade. Are you kidding me? I am heart torn due to this. I am passionately still in love. I'm sitting here like, yeah, they're not gonna treat you as well. Okay, look what you could have got over here. That's me right now.
Okay. Well, you know what? I appreciate you bringing in your, even though you're not over it yet, you're willing to, talk about it openly. And really, that's the first step to getting over it, right? Shout out to Roberto Hastings, one of our local Niners fans coming in. Appreciate you tuning in. And as always, moderator extraordinaire Grandizer in the house. Appreciate Grandizer for everything he does. He asked a great question here, and he says, so how did you become a Seahawks fan? Who is your all-time favorite Seahawks player? And do you have one on defense or offense, maybe one or two of the both? And how many Seahawks jerseys do you own?
Oh, see, I appreciate you wanting to get to know me. I want to get to know you too. This is fun.
Very personable, yes.
Send all this info about your. I'm guessing you're a Rams fan. I'll get over that. Just you say who? What?
He's a Dolphins fan.
Dolphins. Okay, I like that. Okay, tell me, who's your favorite player? When did you become a Dolphins fan? And on offense, defense, how many jerseys do you own? So I became a Seahawks fan. I was raised in a suburb of Seattle. I was raised in Kent, Washington, so 20 minutes away. I didn't have a basketball team for a lot of my childhood. My parents weren't into sports. I found the Seahawks, and I became in love with them. The first game I ever went to wasn't until 2011, but I'd seen them on TV a couple times before that. Like, I was never a diehard fan before that. I was only 11 turning 12 that year. So like it was young for me. And for someone whose parents weren't into it, like, why else would I get into it? I got into it because I found love with it and I introduced it to my parents. So it's actually like, I don't know. It's a beautiful story. Like I chose this and I love this.
That's magical. Yeah.
Thank you. So all-time favorite Seahawks player. So thank goodness you're saying I can go offense, defense, and special teams because it is so hard to nail it down to just one.
Really, absolutely, yeah.
So I go offensively. I go beast mode. Come on, the swagger, the confidence. Yeah, no, his swagger and his confidence, the way he walks around a room, the way he commands a room. You see that? That's how you control that. Just the silent. He just silence, and it grabs your attention, and I love it. And so he's brilliant on defense. Bam Bam Cam. He doesn't have to speak loud for you to hear him, right? Mm-hmm. And that's another reason why I love him. I love guys that hit super hard. Barnshore and Lynch and Cam Chancellor, offense and defense. And then special teams. That's a good question. I was a really big fan of Leon Washington. I felt like every single time I watched him, he could have scored a touchdown on kick returns. And so I really liked him. I really liked Percy Harvin with what he did on special teams, especially in the Super Bowl. Cody Barton forces fumbles. Jermaine Kearse was fun early on in his career, watching him kick return. It's really tough, man. Tyler Lockett, of course. I'd say Leon Washington just because he didn't have any other roles. Okay. But maybe Steven Hauschka, because I met Steven Hauschka, and he's a kicker, right?
Okay, and that's a good reason to make him your favorite, yeah.
He's good.
Absolutely. And how many Seahawks jerseys do you own?
Oh, right. Let's see. I got a Russ. I got a Marshawn. I got Percy Harvin.
Nice.
I got a Doug Baldwin. I got a 12th man that says Squabo. I got a Shaquem Griffin. And I can't think of any others. So I don't have the most in the world, but I'm also not rich. So I love Seahawks jerseys. I also like to, ever since that Percy Harvin jersey, I've been a little bit scarred. Like, okay, is this guy really going to be here? And we just traded Russell Wilson. So another one of my jerseys just got invalidated. Okay, so I'm sitting here a little bit nervous. I want to see the future before I, invest.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's fair. We got one more question coming in here before we start getting to the predictions. And those of you watching live now or on the replay, thanks for tuning in. I ask you to smash that like button and make sure you go to subscribe to Squalo. Let's help get this man to 1,000 subs. But the question before we get into our predictions are, what are your thoughts on Curry Hyder returning to the Niners after getting paid by the Seahawks to do nothing last year?
Well, he was disappointing for sure. He's going to a situation that's better for him, man. Like I'm happy for him as a player because last year the way he performed was unacceptable. Didn't he have like 0.5 sacks on the year? Like not even a whole sack. I can't even remember his stat line, but it was really, really bad. I remember he recovered a fumble. He had like 2-3 highlights the entire season. He did absolutely nothing in Seattle, and we're switching our defensive scheme entirely. He's going back to a situation that's better for him. Like I can't hate him for that. So I'm happy for him. I wanted him to do something in Seattle. It was nice stealing him from the 49ers, but y'all can have him back.
Okay, fair. All right, well, let's get into this here. Let's find out how optimistic they are. And so, Squabo, just a couple of quick thoughts. It's tough losing your franchise quarterback. Is there any reason Seattle fans should be optimistic towards heading into this season?
Yes. Let's not mince words here, okay? Or mince words. I forget the term. But what is really important is that Seattle has an identity again.
Okay.
When Russell Wilson was here, it was, we got to let Russ cook. We got to, pass the ball more. We got to go away from Pete Carroll's old stubborn ways, which I still agree with. But even if it's not the best way to go about doing things, we know what our plan is. And what Drew Lock has been talking about in press conferences, through all the mini camps and training camp, everything this offseason, he's talked about how play action is what he excels at. And that's why he thinks he's a great fit in this offense. And that's what this entire thing is about. If we can build a strong running game, which we drafted the pieces to do so with 2 tackles and running back, and 2 really good tackles and a really good running back, alongside the 2 guards that we had, which had really good seasons, or at least Gabe Jackson did. Damian Lewis was okay, but we have the pieces now to run the football so much better. And it's even more important because we're not convinced that we need to pass it more. We know now that we are going to run the football. We've always had that idea, but the further we got into Russell Wilson's career, the more we realized, like, okay, we need to utilize this guy more. And so now that pressure is gone, he has been traded. We're not expected to have a winning season this year, so we can just run the football, keep the ball out of other teams' quarterbacks' hands.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see how that optimism translates into your schedule prediction here. So, week 1, home game for Seattle. Prime time Monday Night Football. The NFL schedule makers probably gifted Seattle a gift by having this early so that you can get the breakup over, rip the Band-Aid off, whatever analogy you want to use. You're taking on the Russell Wilson-led Denver Broncos. Can Seattle win this game?
Can we? There's a chance.
Okay.
The chance comes with us running the football and keeping the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands. It's going to be their first game. He's not going to have Russell Wilson won't have as much of the offense and the kinks figured out. September isn't where the best teams usually perform. It's later on in the season. So even if Russell Wilson performs well for his new situation, it's still a new situation, and they have to figure out some communication things. They have to figure out all sorts of stuff. So there's definitely a chance Seattle wins, but I think we get our butts kicked. I think we lose 33-18, and I think Russell Wilson sends a statement in week 1 in Seattle.
Okay. So that's an L, and I do see Grandizer is agreeing with you that it's going to be a Russell Wilson. All of his frustrations on Pete is coming out this game. Hello, Culture. Good to see you as well in the chat. So then you travel to San Francisco to take on the Niners. Winning or losing in week 2?
I think that we are going to split with the 49ers this year.
Okay.
Week 2, Trey Lance should be starting. Yeah. He has very little experience in college starting. Even are roughly the same amount of experience in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he is so raw, I think plays right into Seattle's favor. We are coming off an embarrassing home loss to open our season to the guy that we just traded away. I think Pete Carroll's going to be a little bit hurt. I think Pete Carroll's going to be on his game. We've won 30 of the 47 all-time meetings against the 49ers, have the Seahawks, and we've won 17 of the last 20. I think we split the season series. We start with the road victory. We're 1-1.
Okay. So Seahawks fans won't have to wait long to get that first win of the season. And I do see Grandizer predicting an L there as well. But Culture is predicting a win. Okay. All right. We like that. I love it when our chat gets involved with the predictions. Then week 3, home game. You're welcoming in the Atlanta Falcons. Win or lose?
Brian Edwards and Olamide Zaccheaus are their number 2 and number 3 receivers. I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble. I'm not sold on Marcus Mariota. I'm not sold on this team's defense. I'm not sold as Arthur Smith as a head coach. Seattle wins this game 27-21.
Okay. And I will say we've had a Falcons fan do a prediction that blew my mind out of the water. So if you want to go see a Falcons fan prediction to this game, go check out MOOF. I think it was episode 7. Grandizer's predicting an L versus the Falcons. Oh, okay. But you're predicting 2-1 here, and we have you taking on the Jared Goff Detroit Lions. Seattle's headed to Motor City to take on the Detroit Lions. Win or lose?
The Lions are going to get us.
Okay.
Jameson Williams, Aiden Hutchinson, 2 of their huge additions this offseason. They have weapons on both sides of the ball. They're running DJ Shark. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who against Wazoo, which is the college I go to, Washington State University. Amon-Ra St. Brown in his last game against Wazoo in his senior season, it was at USC. He had 4 touchdowns receiving in the first quarter. He is that kind of a player. As soon as I saw that, I was like, that is a guy I don't want to play against. And now I get to play against him again. So this is a guy, he tore us up last year when he played us in Seattle. He's going to tear us up again next year in Detroit. I say Detroit gets it done.
Okay. All right. So you're 2-2 at 500 after 4 weeks. And I see Grandizer predicting an L there. And then okay. This is one of those teams. I'm excited to see tomorrow night. I'm interviewing a Saints fan, but they're a tough team to figure out because we just don't know what we're getting this year with them. You're traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints, win or lose.
They have Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, and Chris Olave in their receiving core. That is star-studded. With a guy like Jameis Winston, he turns the ball over a lot, but he also throws the ball deep quite well. Okay, so that's a guy that is going to greatly benefit by that supporting cast, right? Yeah. Then on the defensive side of the ball, they bring in Honey Badger, they bring in Marcus May, they have Marshawn Lattimore. That makes this one of the best secondaries in football instantly, right? Okay. The Saints are going to get it done. 31-28, Seattle loses.
Okay. All right. So you're 2-3 on the year. Okay. And then your first divisional game against the Cardinals of the year. It's a home game for Seattle. You're welcoming in Kyler Murray and crew. I believe DeAndre Hopkins will not yet be there for this game. Win or lose?
Arizona has won 5 of their last 7 games in Seattle. Every single year I've made it. Every week I go to church. Every year, I do taxes. Every year I circle the Arizona game in Seattle as a loss. They're going to beat us in Seattle. We might split the season series, but they're winning in Seattle. And that's one thing I'm sure of for right now.
Okay. So that's another L. That's okay. That's okay. And I do see some people predicting a win here, for an automatic win, but Grandizer agrees it's going to be an L there. So, okay, so you're 2-4 on the year after 6 weeks, and then you're going to LA for the first of 3 trips to LA this year for the Seahawks, but you're taking on not the Rams but the Chargers. Win or lose?
They're going to kick our tails. This is a break game for them in that division. The Chargers have made phenomenal moves this offseason, bringing in J.C. Jackson, bringing in Khalil Mack, right? Rashawn Slater looks fantastic at left tackle. The Chargers are going to kick our butts.
Okay. So you're 2-5, but the year's still young, and then you get to here's a game for you. You welcome in the New York Football Giants to Seattle. Can you break this losing streak here, Squabo?
This is a trap game. The Giants beat us last time we played in Seattle. Oh, by the way, Russell Wilson was there for that game. Oh. So I am concerned about this game. It's going to be close. I say it's a 2-point game. Daniel Jones is just really, really not it, and Seattle's run game is it. And that's why I say Seattle wins 30-28.
Okay. So the losing streaks is finally gone. All of Seattle Seahawks fans are like, finally, we're back in this. 3-5, rally the troops, Pete. Second chances, all that jazz. And in week 9, you take on the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona for the second time this year. Can you split with the Cardinals?
Give me the split. Nuke will be back by this game, or at least theoretically, right? So I think the Cardinals are one of those teams that when they're not supposed to perform well, they do, and when they are, they don't. This is a game that they're going to be like, oh, we already won in Seattle. Oh, we got our number 1 wide receiver back. We're going to be fine. No, you're not. You're going to lose. We're going to be on the road. We're going to run the ball down your throat, and they're not going to be able to stop us. We won the last game in Arizona. We have a really good record in Arizona. Seahawks win.
Okay. And I will say you have a couple of L's predicted there from the chat. Grandizer did have this bold prediction of the first win of Seattle will be the New York Giants.
Pain.
Okay, so you're 4-5. Okay, and then week 10, this is over in Germany, and you are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over in Germany. First off, how do you feel about the Seahawks playing in Germany? Second off, do you think they can win this game?
It's going to be a home game for Seattle. We have a lot of fans overseas. Germany specifically has a lot of Seahawks fan groups. So I think there's going to be more Seahawks fans. And we had Aaron Doncourt. I think he's still on the practice squad for Seattle. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I remember we had him, and he was our German guy that would like translate and show us where to go and stuff like that. And I think we still have him on the roster. So we have connections to Germany. It's going to be a home game for Seattle. We would lose at home to the Buccaneers, and we're going to lose bad. It's going to be 23-40. We're going to get blown out. These guys are not going to – we're not going to stop them scoring for nothing.
I love the tease. Love the tease. And a couple of predictions coming in here. Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk. They may not want to get on the flight. We got an L. And yeah, L. It's not the last 5 weeks of the season. Cards will still be good. But let's. Yeah, it looks like Dave thought you were going another direction with that. But oh look, it's week 11 and it's your bye week. And on MOOF, whenever we get to the bye week, that means it's time for
Bye Week Hot Takes. The hottest takes on the bye week.
Yes, it is time for Bye Week Hot Takes. This is the segment of the show where we take a little break from the predictions, and I give 3 hot takes that I have found from various corners of the internet, Twitter, Reddit, various Facebook groups and comment sections on whatever website, and I find them interesting, and I present them to our guests. Squabo has not seen these. He is going to be reacting raw to them, and let us know in the comments what you believe as well. So the first one, the Seahawks needed to rebuild and move on from Wilson to get back to a Super Bowl team.
Wrong. The Seahawks needed to rebuild is not what I think is wrong.
Okay.
What I think is wrong is that we needed to move off of Wilson, because I made the argument that we needed to move off of Pete. And that's like, I understand where you're coming. This isn't the craziest. Like, I think that this is a good idea minus the Wilson part. We needed to rebuild. We needed to figure out a whole new identity. There's a chance we can make it back to a Super Bowl now with this new identity, with the new quarterback that we draft. But I sure hope they don't plan on passing the ball too much, because we are clearly, and we are going to remain, as long as Pete Carroll is the head coach, a run-first organization. This was a fight for power. So I wanted to see us move off Pete Carroll, because ever since the late Paul Allen died, now Pete Carroll just has too much power. And he is everything in Seattle, and that's part of the problem. He's a little bit out of touch. His drafting wasn't as good until this year, and I think it's because that spark was fired under him by trading Russell Wilson. So I think that Pete Carroll is a little bit more out of touch than we like to give him credit for. Malik McDowell, Rashad Penny, Jermaine Fetty, just some of the first round and early second round draft picks that we've busted on. LJ Collier, just to say the least, right? We haven't had a first rounder drafted that made the Pro Bowl since 2010, Earl Thomas, right? Okay. So I think Pete was more of the problem than Russell Wilson, but we're going with Pete Carroll, so I sure hope it works.
Okay, well, it's funny you bring up Pete Carroll, because this next hot take's about him. This was taken, I overheard this, some Seahawks fans talking on a Twitter space yesterday, and this comment verbatim came out. Pete Carroll will be outcoached every game this season. I know this is hard for you to talk about because you're not a big Pete Carroll fan, but when you look at the schedule as a whole, there's some talented coaches that the Seahawks face this year. Like the Giants, you don't really know what you're getting. You're playing the Panthers later on in the year. Do you see this Seahawks team really getting outcoached and being ill-prepared each week?
I think Brian Daboll for the Giants could potentially outcoach Pete Carroll. I think you mentioned it. Matt Rule is a question mark.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to have a head coaching job this time next year. Robert Saleh, he's a great defensive coordinator. Is he a great head coach? I don't know that. The jury's still out. So we play the Jets later, and we don't know. I don't think Pete Carroll is going to get outcoached every game this year. I think that's asinine. But just listing the specific, because he's going to outcoach Kyle Shanahan once out of the 2 games. He's going to outcoach Cliff Kingsbury once out of the 2 games. And then you look at the Giants coach, Brian Daboll, question marks about him. You look at the Chargers coach, Brandon Staley. What is he going to bring to the table? Is it that roster is so talented, but is Staley a good coach? We'll figure that out. And I think the other one, I'm pretty sure he's going to outcoach Arthur Smith. I have little confidence in the Falcons.
Okay, that's fair. And the final hot take, of this segment is Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf will both have over 10 touchdowns this season. And I will say that this again was from that same Twitter space, and I was like, Seahawks fans, I don't see this happening, but Squabble, am I crazy? And they did say over 10 touchdowns each, just to specify, that's what they were clarifying. And that would be either rushing or receiving, but combined, they would have over 20 touchdowns between the two of them.
Does anyone want to make this bet? Because I will bet stakes that doesn't happen. Anyone want to take that? Anyone? Peo, you want to bet a stake on that?
No, I think this. This is like one of this out of all the hot takes. I've seen some crazy hot takes. This might be the craziest, most insane one that I heard someone viciously arguing that because Lockett and Metcalf will be the entire offense for the Seahawks, that they're the only ones going to be scoring touchdowns.
Culture says they want to take the deal. We got a stake bet going.
Wow.
I'm not sure what's more realistic. The chance that both of those players have more than 10 touchdowns on the ground and through the air, or that E on the end of Metcalf's name that doesn't exist. I don't know what's more realistic. That's why that's what's funny to me. No, they are not going to both score 10 touchdowns because of who's throwing them the ball. Geno Smith, Drew Lock, Baker Mayfield, Peo time. I don't care who's throwing them the ball. They're not both getting 10.
Fair enough. Well, this has been
Bye Week Hot Takes. The hottest takes on the bye week.
awesome. That was so fun. Gotta give a couple of shout outs here quick. We see I do see Jake coming in here with his own hot take. Seahawks re-sign DK, take a QB in the 2023 draft, and are back in the playoffs next year. I'm sure you would love to see that, wouldn't you?
No, that's an accurate take. That's a good take. That's a you on point, Jake. I like you.
You can watch. Jake was our representative for the Bills episode of the MOOF series. So you
see, Bills fans are great. I love Bills fans. Also, I just shout out Minnesota Sports Talk. Just subscribe to Squabble Says. I love.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I love these people. Thank you.
Yeah. No, we got a great chat going on here. Thanks, everyone. Okay, well, let's get back to the and I do see APW Sports, and we lots of really cool people in this chat here. Shout out you guys. So before the bye week, Squabble predicted a 4-6 start to the season. So the Seahawks just got back from Germany. They're relaxing on the bye week, and then they welcome in the Las Vegas Raiders to town. Win or lose with the Raiders?
Well, this is a tough one. So Culture asked a question. They said, why do you always dress up for your videos? It's a good question. I do it because I want you to know that I take this seriously. And I want to show that professional, and I want to add this to potentially my resume reel so I can get a job on TV talking sports. I take this seriously, and I tell you how I really feel. And how I really feel is that the Raiders are going to kick our butts too. I think this is a team. They brought in some weapons on both sides of the ball. Someone that gets after the quarterback and Chandler Jones, someone that catches the ball from the quarterback and has a good relationship with the Derek Carr as they have chemistry from college, and is arguably the best wide receiver in football in Devontae Adams. Not only that, but he's come out and said recently that he just wasn't about the retirement party in Green Bay and waiting on retirement and hearing about that every single year. He wasn't about that. He's about his business, and he's going to get some of his business this year. That roster is extremely talented. That offense is really, really loaded. You talk about Josh Jacobs, you talk about Darren Waller, you talk about Devontae Adams, you talk about Hunter Renfrow, and Derek Carr, who is a top 10 quarterback. What I think is the biggest problem with the Raiders is their offensive line, but Seattle's pass rush isn't that good, so it's not going to be too big of a problem in this game. Raiders beat us in Seattle.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Well, you're 4-7, and then one of my favorite games coming up. You travel to Los Angeles to the beautiful SoFi Stadium to take on the defending Super Bowl champions, Los Angeles Rams. Win or lose?
Y'all gonna kick our butts. It's gonna be like 38-7. It's gonna be something crazy, bad, terrible.
Yeah.
Like that one game where y'all dropped like 50 in Seattle. It's gonna be like that. We're gonna get blown out. You're gonna kick our butts.
I'm looking forward to that. That's cool. All right. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, I won't make you dwell too much in it. But looking forward to that. Then, okay, I know Seahawks fans are excited about this game. They welcome in the Carolina Panthers to town. Win or lose versus the Panthers.
It's going to be a close game. The Panthers have a lot of weapons. C-Mac, Moore, Robbie Anderson. Who's going to be their quarterback? We'll see if Matt Corral is able to get that job or if Sam Darnold keeps it. I think this is one of those games where they have enough question marks surrounding their roster that Seattle might not be the biggest question mark team in this game. Seattle also passed on the quarterback that they drafted multiple times. So I say Seattle wins this game. Pete Carroll outcoaches Matt Rule 28-26. It's going to be close. We're going to beat them.
Okay. Well, that's a win. And I will say in the chat, we have Culture saying that the Rams are going to win. Grandizer's predicting a tie versus the Panthers. But just so you know, Grandizer predicts a tie at least once an episode. So that's the token Grandizer 12 tie. We got a couple other hot takes coming in here. Appreciate y'all. So again, we're 6-7, one game below.
Come on down. That's funny.
Yeah, no judgment. Yeah, one game below 500, and you are. Oh, it's a short week, prime time. You are taking on the San Francisco 49ers in Seattle. Win or lose?
Wait, you said one game below 500. I have us. I think right now I have it at 5-8. So we're.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I miscalculated. Thank you for that correction.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries. I just want to make it clear.
No,
I'm not. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna.
Integrity. I love that. Yeah.
At that point of the season, we're already eliminated practically.
Yeah.
And it's only gonna get worse. We're gonna lose at home versus San Francisco. We're gonna win once on the road, but then Trey Lance is gonna have figured out. Okay, this is how you play football. So I think this is gonna be a good thing for him later on in the season to get us back and to get a win versus Seattle. I think San Francisco beats us and splits the season series.
Okay. So that's 5-9 on the year. Okay, all right. And then again, a kind of brutal game here in Week 16. You are traveling to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Win or lose?
They are a better team than us.
Yeah. Okay, no, yeah, that's some expert analysis. Thank you for that.
I'm being real. We're going to go there. We're going to try and run the ball and keep it out of Pat Mahomes' hands. We might make it somewhat interesting, but at that point, the Chiefs are going to be playing for playoff position. Sometimes or they're going to have figured out how things work without Tyreek Hill. They don't have the speed threats anymore of a Tyreek Hill, but MVS has some speed to him. They have other guys that are fast. Seattle just can't keep up with those guys. If it becomes any resemblance of a shootout, we're definitely going to lose in an embarrassing fashion. I say Kansas City beats us. Okay.
So you're 5-10. And you have 2 games left. 2 home games for the rest of the season. So at least Seattle doesn't have to travel or anything like that. Sleep in your own bed. And you welcome the New York Jets to town. Win or lose?
This is going to shock people. I say we lose this game. I think the Jets have added so much talent to their roster. You talk about Jermaine Johnson. You talk about Sauce Gardner, and then Garrett Wilson as well. Those are 3 players that have an argument to be at the best of their position group, right? Outside of at least top 3 in each of their position groups, they have an argument to be made that they're in there, right? And all 3 of those players are now in New York. They drafted extremely well. They got positions that they really, really needed. They also brought in our former cornerback, DJ Reed, from last year. They have a whole bunch of former 49ers playing with Robert Saleh, right? So this is guys that know the head coach. He's putting in his guys into his system. If Robert Saleh is going to work, this is the year we find out, right? I say they beat us.
Okay. I do see Grandizer saying a tie. So 2 ties just have to across the okay. So you're at 5-11, and then look at this. You get to play the defending Super Bowl champion Rams for one last time, week 18. But it's week 18, tough week to predict. Win or lose?
So kind of similar to the Jets game. Seattle's going to go into it like, all right, our season's over. We're close to a top draft pick. Like we're going to be competing with the Texans for the first overall pick potentially, right? Versus the Rams, who are going to be resting a lot of players because they already have the 1 seed locked up, right?
Ooh,
so
like that,
something along those lines, right? So it's if the Rams play their starters, the Rams win.
Okay.
If the Rams do not, this game could go either way just because Seattle's like, hurrah, we beat the Rams at home. Like, to finish the season, like, it would just be a moral victory in the locker room. It might cost us a little bit of draft positioning. Some people in Seattle are going to be mad. I don't know that the Rams are going to have the 1 seed locked up, and so because of that, I'm saying the Rams win.
Okay. All right. Well, so 5-12 record prediction. When I look at your schedule, I do think there are some games there that are definitely winnable for the Seahawks. I'm not someone that believes that they're going to go 0-17. I do think that the Seahawks are going to show up to fight. I see Grandizer's prediction. He's saying the Seahawks will go 2-13-2.
Wow.
But good to see you, Drick Smith, and everyone else in the chat. Squabo, this has been a blast. You have represented the Seahawks fandoms very well. And where can our viewers find you? I know the link to your channel is in the description below this video.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Shout out to Grandizer for posting pretty much every link that has ever been associated with me, probably in the history of my childhood. Like, I am so thankful for that. I'm pretty easy to find at Squabo Says on everything. So on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, not Facebook. Don't look me up on Facebook. Under that, my real name is Noah Bolter. If you want to be Facebook friends, I guess we could do that. But as Squabo Says on everything, I post TikToks. It's my primary platform now. I love YouTube as well. I do a weekly show. I just got done with it. While Peo was going live doing his Jaguars MOOF, I was going live doing my weekly show. So every single week I do that. And then we're also together on the NFC West Roundtable, which is on the NFC West Network channel. So much fun. But for consistent content, go to my TikTok and my Instagram at Squabo Says.
Awesome. Well, Squabo, it's always a pleasure. And everyone in the chat, I do see Dave is saying 5-12 in his prediction. And Jake specific. Oh, thank you, No Border Sports. That's very kind of you. Jake is specifically saying, do you do TikTok dances?
No, you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, no, I do like sports related TikToks for the most part.
Awesome. Well, this has been another episode 11 of MOOF. Oh man, we are plowing through this. Join me tomorrow night where I will be interviewing a Saints content creator. We'll talk about the New Orleans Saints. So that's dropping tomorrow night around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 Pacific. And Squabo, it's been a pleasure. Stick around. We'll chat just afterwards. And for all of you watching, thank you so much. We will see you in the next video.